चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे गुरवे गौरचन्द्राय राधिकाय तदाय कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय भक्ताय वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुवरं श्रीरूपानुरूपवरं श्रीगुरुचरणं वन्दे रमणकृष्णाय भूतले जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि श्री जय रूप सनातन भक्त रघुनाथ श्री जी गोपाल भक्तदास हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम हरे राम. First of all, I offer my Sastanga and Lord pranams to the Holy Spirit, my spiritual masters. Nitlai Shri Bhaktivedanta Shri Narayan Goswami Maharaj. Nitlai Shri Bhaktivedanta Shri Bam Goswami Maharaj. Entire Rupanaka, Yagurvarga, all the Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis as well. So continue reading from Sri Ramananda samvad. Because once we become established in these teachings, that Mahaprabhu is having Ramananda speak. If we become established, then your bhakti will be in our hands. It is not something unattainable. It is something attainable. Something that can be achieved. Not something that is beyond us. But it is in our hands to practice the instructions given herein. Like we say, if there's a plate of prasadam right in front of you, you must honor that Mahaprasadam. Not that you expect someone to come and spoon feed you. Similarly, these teachings are given, so we have to follow them as much as we can. So here we say that when Rai Ramananda spoke of offering the results of one's activities to Sri Krishna, that is Krishna Karmarpan Sarva Sadhyasar. So what does that imply? That implies that when we feel that all of our desires have been fulfilled by worshipping Vishnu, we may consider that Vishnu is pleased with us. But really this is not the case at all. No. Like there are three stages. There is akarma, vikarma and karma. So what is akarma? Akarma means you don't do anything in the first place. You refrain from doing something. That is called akarma. And what is vikarma? Vikarma means to act against the injunctions of the scriptures. To act against the Shastras. What is that? Drohacharan means you cheat someone. You commit acts of violence against someone. This is called vikarma. And then there is karma yoga, which is karma mishra bhakti. And what is that? Offering the fruits of one's actions to Krishna. Like if there's a mango, you pluck that mango and you eat it for yourself, and you'll have to suffer. Then it is Krishna Bhakti. So what can you offer to Krishna when everything is his in the first place? There's nothing you can offer, but still you are offering to him. Saying, Krishna, kindly accept this and allow me to have this. This is Karma Mishra Bhakti. So this is what is being spoken of here. Because in this world they say, most of the religions in this world, they practice this Karma Mishra Bhakti. Like Christianity, Islam, any religion which has any conception of God practices Karma Mishra Bhakti. Like in Christianity, before they eat, what do they say? They say something, some grace, what is that? Thou shalt be pleased, something they say. They hold hands together, they say something. You follow? Yeah? Yeah? You say no. Now sometimes they hold hands and they say something. Oh Lord, be pleased with us. So they have some conception in common. This is something that should be encouraged. But the problem is they offer meat, which is not good. Because in the Bible it is said, thou shalt not kill. This is one of the 10 commandments. So they interpret this statement to mean that thou shalt not kill means we shall not kill human beings. But actually thou shalt not kill means one should not kill any animal for that sake. Because they feel that the animals have no souls, only the human being has a soul. But this is not the case. Even animals, living entities, everyone has a soul within. But still, when Swami Maharaj would be preaching to all these kind of people, he would encourage them. Even our Guru, he would say, we are refined Christians. We are also Christians, but we are refined. In the sense, we are following the Bible even more than you are following the Bible. Swami Maharaj would say this. When you go there preaching. Even Gurudev also, when you meet all these different fathers, bishops, pastors, all of them. So this is Karma Mishra. Actually, if we are labeling it, if we are calling it Karma Mishra Bhakti, then actually we are very generous in that sense. We call it Karma Mishra Bhakti. Because it is like the lowest stage of Karma Mishra Bhakti. Now, Karma Mishra Bhakti is also something very high. Don't think it is very inferior to be offering the fruits of our actions to Krishna. This is also, you must have some realization of who Krishna is. Only then can you offer. Or else if you don't even know who Krishna is, then what can you offer? So here, such a worshipper, he considers the earth, the heavenly planets and other such places to be related to him. This conception has no connection whatsoever with Sarup Siddha Bhakti. Because we see, like some people, they're performing fire sacrifices. And then they feel that for these fire sacrifices to achieve perfection, you must chant the holy name. Like today I was reading one article, it was written by Bhaktivedanta Goswami Maharaj. There he was saying that in society, there are certain yagyas performed according to Karma Kanda. So in these yagyas, they say that in Kali Yuga, it is very difficult for yagyas to bear fruit. Because the person who is chanting the mantras, he should be pure. The ghee that is used to offer inside the fire yagyas, that should be pure. The ritviks means the assistant priests who are sitting around the yajman, that is the person performing the yajna, in whose name it is being performed, they should be pure. So there should be a very good degree of purity. So then the person who is performing this yajna, he realizes that it will not bear fruit unless we do Nam Sankirtan. So then all of them together, they start doing Nam Sankirtan. So this is actually like Namaparad. This is not even like Namabhas. Because he is chanting this Namaparad. Why? So that his yajna can bear success. But is he chanting this Nam for Krishna's pleasure, for Krishna's happiness? But still he says, no, I have to do this. Because I am offering the fruits of this yajna to Vishnu. So this is also Bhakti. This is like a very low form of Bhakti. Not even Bhakti. Very low. Like we see sometimes also they're offering Shraddh. Means they're offering oblations to their forefathers, to their Pitras. So then they say that this Shraddh that I'm offering, what is this Shraddh? This Shraddh is called Pindadan. Pindadan means they take some sesame seeds, they mix it with rice grains, and they make it little balls, and they have certain Brahmins chant certain mantras, and these balls are offered inside the river. Why? Because they say in Pitralok, the forefathers, they have subtle bodies. So they're looking to be born in a gross body. So when you're offering this Pindadan, when you're offering these things, it is said it directly goes to the forefathers in Pitralok, and they're eating it. And then by eating that, they get a gross body. Means they enter into the womb of another lady. And then they're born again. So they see that even this will not bear fruit unless it is Mahaprasad. No, even Vaishnavas perform Pindadan. But what do they offer to their forefathers? They offer Bhagavad Mahaprasad. They offer the Thakurji, and then they offer this Mahaprasad to their ancestors. But even when you are offering, you should do some kirtan. Only then that offering will go there. So again you see this is like Karma Mishra Bhakti. Because how was it pleasing to Krishna in the first place? Rather, you are only bringing Krishna into the entire scenario. Why? Because then, without bringing Krishna or his Nam inside, then it will not bear fruit, it will not give anything. So by force you're bringing Krishna in. So this is karma Mishra Bhakti. So for this reason Mahaprabhu is saying this is external. It has no connection whatsoever. So here, some who follow Varnashram Dharma consider their austerities to be their own. Some consider their mother to be their own. Some their father. Some consider everything they have to be their personal property. Like we see in the Ramayana, Shravan Kumar, he used to have so much love for his parents. His parents were blind. And what would Shravan Kumar do? He would carry his blind parents on a basket. On one side his father would be sitting, on another side his mother would be sitting. So he was the ideal son, Shravan Kumar. Wherever he'd go, he'd carry his parents. Especially he'd be going to all the different pilgrimage places, Tirtha-sthalis. He would feed his parents, he would look after them, bathe them, because they were blind. But still he came to one place where that place was very impure, very sinful. Many people there, they were drinking alcohol, wine, they were killing animals, eating meat. So as soon as he came to that place, his mind became defeated, his intelligence. Then he started shouting at his parents so much, saying, oh, I have spent my entire life doing this for you, I have wasted my entire life, I could have married, had so many children by now, rather looking at all you, both of you who are so old, useless. So then his father told him, all right, we will not disturb you any longer, you just help us cross the river, you leave us there and then you can go. So then when he left that place, Shravan Kumar, when he came to the other side of the river, then he realized, what have I said to them? What have I done? How did my mind become so polluted? Then he realized he was in such a place. So you see here, even his Pitra Bhakti, even his Matri Bhakti, even his devotion to his parents, even that you see here, it failed. Because if such devotion was resolute, if it was one-pointed, then why would he have even doubted such service to his parents? And then we see, like, even there is devotion to one's country. Like people, they are very, they have so much love for their countries. Like when Prabhupada was in Calcutta, there was one freedom fighter, Subhash Chandra Bose. So he came to meet Prabhupada. He told Prabhupada that I see so many young men with you. So why don't you give me these young men? I will take all these young men with me and I will use them to fight against the British. Subhash Chandra Bose told Prabhupada. Because we see even Param Gurudev, previously he was a freedom fighter. He was also fighting against the British. So much so that the British, when they were looking for him, Param Gurudev had to go hide in the forest somewhere. And then he had to come to the temple. So there were so many such brahmacharis who were fighting for the freedom of India. Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj, Swami Maharaj, so many of them. But still we see when Subhash Chandra Bose met Prabhupada, then Prabhupada, he said that devotion you have for your country is actually very temporary. Because now you are fighting the British, but in your next life, if you are born as one of the Britishers, then where is your devotion? Where is your loyalty to your country? Where is your freedom movement? There is no significance whatsoever. This is called Desh Bhakti. Because even such form of devotion is based on the body, the country in which you were born, the country in which you were raised. So all these things are negated. So here there is an example given here. Once there was a Brahmin who sat beneath a tree performing austerities. There was a pigeon there sitting on the upper branches of the tree. So when the Brahmin was meditating, what did the pigeon do? It passed some stone on the Brahmin's head when the Brahmin was doing his dhyan. So the Brahmin was very proud of his meditation. He was thinking, I'm following Varna, Ashram, Varnashram, Dharma, everything. So then the pigeon there, it passed some stone on his head and the Brahmin saw, what is this? He saw something very sticky on his head. So then he looked at the pigeon and what did he do? He burned the pigeon to ashes by the power of his meditation. He burnt it to ashes. Hey, nonsense pigeon. So then he became very proud. So then he was going to another place in a village. There he saw one lady. She was like massaging her husband's legs. She was massaging his legs. She was serving her husband. Then this Brahman, he went and he said, Bhiksham Dehi. And give me some Bhiksha. So this lady, she told the Brahman, just wait for some time. I'm serving my husband. This is my dharma. Lady should always serve her husband. I'll give you some Bhiksha after some time. Just wait for some time. The Brahmin again he said, Bhiksham Dehi. And he said, wait for some time, I just serve my husband. Again he said, if you don't come now, I'll burn both of you to ashes. This Brahmin said. Then this lady, she looked at the Brahmin and she said, I'm not that pigeon, she said. But you can just burn to ashes. She said, you become very proud of your austerities. She said, I am not like that pigeon. In fact, by the service I have rendered to my husband, I have become even more powerful than you. She said, I can burn you to ashes. She said, the lady to the Brahmin. So she was serious. The Brahmin, he got scared and he ran away from her. He didn't stay there. So you see here, even his austerities, even his meditation, it was performed independently. It was not meant to please Vishnu, not meant to please Krishna. And you see this lady, she was following Varna and ashram. So in one way, whatever service she was doing to her husband was also directed towards Vishnu. In one way, in a very external way. So therefore her austerities was even more powerful than the austerities that the Brahmin had done. Why? Because her devotion to her husband had some semblance of devotion to Vishnu. Because according to Shastras, it is said that one's guru, one's husband, one's king, one's parents, they should be seen as representatives of Vishnu. They should be seen as representatives of Bhagavan. So she was serving her husband in that form. That he is the representative of Vishnu. If I serve him, I am serving Vishnu. And so powerful she became. By following Varnashram Dharma. But still, even all those things are so temporary. Even that is not. Because eventually her husband will die. She will die. What is the use of her chastity? No. Like in this world, there are certain ladies who are very glorified for their chastity. Mandodari, wife of Ravan, she is considered very chaste. And you see, Mandodari actually, after Ravan died, she was staying with Vibhishan. So where is her chastity? She is staying with another man, but still she is considered very chaste. You see, Tara. Tara was the wife of Bali. And when Bali was killed by Ram, she started staying with Sugriv, with another person. But still she is very chaste. How is it possible? Then we see Ahilya. Ahilya, we know that Indra, he polluted her. Indra appeared as Gautam Rishi and he polluted her chastity. But still, she is considered one of the most chaste ladies. Why? Because Ram bestowed her mercy upon her. Ahilya. Then we see Draupadi. Draupadi had 5 husbands, not even one. She is called Panchali. Panchali means she has 5 husbands. But in spite of that, in spite of having 5 husbands, she is considered very chaste. Draupadi also. And they say that many such ladies in the Shastras were glorified for their chastity. But still we see that chastity, how long will it stay? It will not stay for long. The gopis even gave up such chastity, which is glorified so much in the Shastras. They even gave it up. They kicked it away. They said, we don't care for our husbands. We don't care for anything. And now you see the gopis are glorified as the most chaste women in all of creation. Is there anyone more chaste than the gopis? No one is more chaste than the gopis. We see so many stories from Braj. Like we see once Krishna, he got a headache. And then he had a high temperature, his head was burning so much. So then Yogamaya, she was called. Then Yogamaya, she told all the ladies of Braj that only the most chaste lady in Brajmandal, if she brings water in a pot which has 1,000 holes, and if Krishna is bathed with that water from that pot, only then his sickness will go away. So then Yogamaya said, who are the most chaste ladies in all of Braj? So then Jatila and Kutila, they raised their hands. The in-laws of Srimati Radhika. Jatila is a mother-in-law, Kutila is a sister-in-law. They said, we are the most chaste ladies in all of Braj. They said, all right, and take this pot. So this pot had so many holes. And as soon as first Kutila, she took that water. And when she kept it on her head, all the water came down completely. She was embarrassed in front of everyone and she left. Then Jatila, when she saw her daughter and being insulted in such a way, she also left. So then all the other ladies requested Radharani, kindly carry this pot. Radharani said, why? People are always accusing me of being unchaste. They're saying so many bad things about me. But they said, no, you have to carry this. Then when Radharani took this pot of water and kept it on her head, not even one small drop of water came out of that pot. And then Radharani, she took that pot and Krishna, they did abhishek of that. They took that water and did abhishek of Krishna's body and he was cured of his sickness. So what was Krishna showing? We're showing how chaste Radharani was. Why? Because who was the object of her chastity? The object of her chastity was Krishna himself, not any other person in this world, mundane person. So therefore, all these regulations of the scriptures, they're only meant to bring one to this path of Krishna Bhakti, gradually. Gradually. Because people, you see all the different people, they have different qualifications, they have different adhikars. Not everyone has the same adhikar. No. Because there are two types of impressions that a person he gets in his life. One is called Praktan Sanskar and one is called Adunik Sanskar. So Adunik Sanskar are the present impressions that we are getting right now. Like we're staying in the temple, we're staying in the dham, we're doing our seva, we're coming for arati, harikatha, kirtan, we're doing parikrama, darshans, whatever. So by all these things we're getting these Praktan Sanskars, means present impressions. No, Adunik Sanskar. But then there's Praktan Sanskar. What is that? They are the unseen impressions from our previous lives. What have we done in our previous life to have come here to Vrindavan in the first place? No. What have we done? We don't know what we've done. Now we know what we're doing. We're doing so many things here, following the main of devotion. But what have we done in our previous lives? We don't know what we've done. But we must have done something very pious. We must have done something very pious. Or else how would we have come here in the first place? This is called Praktan Sanskar. There's Adunik Sanskar. So therefore, every person, according to these two kind of impressions, he has different kinds of adhikar. Not everyone has the same kind of adhikar. No. So therefore, there are so many regulations in the scriptures. So that everyone, they comes to a certain point, they come to a certain point of Nishtita Bhakti. What is Nishtita Bhakti? Nishtita Bhakti means, even if you cut my body into millions of pieces, I will not give up devotion. Never. Gurudev would say that even if the entire world is against you, even if the entire world is on one side, and you are alone on one side, never give up bhakti. He would say, never give it up. Even if the entire world is against you, this is called Nishtita Bhakti. So all these regulations of the Shastras, they're meant to bring you to this stage. Unwavering devotion, unflinching devotion. I'll never give up bhakti, no matter what. Otherwise, there's every reason for us to give up bhakti. So therefore, this is a step-by-step process. So here, this is being spoken. So Srila Saraswati Prabhupada says that the bodily achievements of those who follow Varnashram Dharma are based on the false egoism arising from the conceptions of I and mine. They are thus confined to this universe. Bhakti, on the other hand, is beyond the material universe. No, like we see, this creeper of devotion, Bhakti Lata, when it grows, it gradually pierces through all the coverings of the universe. It pierces through all the coverings of the universe and then it reaches Golok Vrindavan. We should realize one thing, that this world is not, don't think that this world is unreal. This world is actually real. Don't think that this world is false. It is real, this world. Only the mentality of being a conditioned soul, that is false in this world. No. Like we see a lady, she thinks he's my husband, or a person thinks she's my wife, or a person thinks he's my father, he's my mother. These conceptions are false. But the world in itself is permanent, is true. Because we see anything that is created in this world, we see it doesn't get destroyed. It stays. Because we see all the elements are present in earth. But if you see, if earth loses one aspect of its quality, that is fragrance, then what remains? Water. And if water loses its form, its taste, then what remains? Fire. If fire loses its form, what remains? Air. If air loses its touch, what remains? Ether. And if ether loses its quality of sound, then what does it become? It becomes Prithvi. And then this Prithvi enters into this Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. And Garbhodakshaya Vishnu enters into Mahavishnu. So this way you see everything is present in an unmanifest stage. It is only a question of being manifest and unmanifest. So there's no question of anything ever being destroyed in this world. Everything is still present. Only this conception of belonging to this world, of thinking that I am a jiva who is confined to this world, this is false. So in Varnashram Dharma, what happens? One has this conception that I am such and such person. I am doing this, I am doing that. That conception is false. That is not real. Because ultimately, who am I? Now, who am I? I am the Jiva, the soul. And who is the super soul? Paramatma. And who is the Atma of Paramatma? Now, who is the soul of Paramatma? It is Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. And who is the soul of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu? Karnabdasaya Vishnu. And who is the soul of Karnabdasaya Vishnu? Mahavishnu. It is Mahasankarshan. And who is the soul of Mahasankarshan? Means his Atma is Mool Sankarshan. And who is the Atma of Mool Sankarshan? Baladev Prabhu. And who is the Atma of Baladev Prabhu? Who? Krishna. And who is the Atma of Krishna? Who? Who is the soul of Krishna? Srimati Radhika. So this way our relationship is with who? Is with even the soul of Krishna, Srimati Radhika. So when this conception arises, then one has the adhikar to go beyond Varnashram Dharma, to go towards Swarup Siddha Bhakti. So Mahaprabhu, he wants everyone come to this point, to this understanding. So therefore he is gradually rejecting all these conceptions here. So here, according to Bhaktivinoda Thakur, to offer the results of one's action to Bhagavan Krishna is the very essence of perfection when compared to the ordinary Varnashram system. So in this way, undertakings such as constructing hospitals and dharmashalas and digging wells may be offered to Krishna, but they are external and are thus an obstruction to the soul's relationship with Bhagavan. So you see many people, they make hospitals, they dig wells, they make schools, they do many things and they offer it to Krishna. But here, even this is external. Why? Because by such endeavors, what arises? One kind of anartha arises. What is that? It is called Sukruti Utta Anartha. There are different kinds of anarthas. What are they? There is Duskruti Utta Anartha, Sukruti Utta Anartha. There is Bhakti Utta Anartha. There is Aparad Utta Anartha. So one kind of anartha is called Aparad Utta. Means anarthas arising from Dham Aparad, Nam Aparad, Seva Aparad, Vaishnava Aparad, all these things. Because why are we not realizing this very swarup of bhakti? No, because we are having darshan of the deity, like Mahaprabhu, when he would see Jagannath, and he would see any form of Krishna, he'd be rolling on the ground, he'd be weeping, he'd be undergoing so many transformations. But we, every day we are coming, we are standing in front of Thakurji, we are doing so many things, but still we see him like not even weeping so much, no transformation in our hearts whatsoever. Why? It is because of anarthas. And these anarthas, they come from where? First is Aparadutta Anartha. Anarthas coming from offenses to Harinam, to Vaishnavas, to the Dham, Seva Aparad, so many things. This is Aparadutta Anartha. And there's Bhakti Utta Anartha. Anarthas arising from Bhakti. So one can say, how is this possible? How can anarthas come from Bhakti? Impossible. Actually it is possible. What kind of Bhakti is being spoken of here? Karma Mishra Bhakti, Gyan Mishra Bhakti, Arup Siddha Bhakti, Sangha Siddha Bhakti, Pradhani Bhuta Bhakti. All these kinds of devotions are actually adulterated forms of devotion. They are impure forms of devotion. So even anarthas are coming from there, which is not making us realize the Swarup of Radha and Krishna. And then there's Duskruti Yutta Anarthas. Duskruti Yutta Anarthas means what? You do something bad, speaking lies, like stealing, like doing something which is against the Shastras. This is called Duskruti. And then what happens? Many anarthas come. Therefore you cannot chant Shuddhana. And there's Sukruti Yutta Anarthas. Sukruti Yutta Anarthas means what? Like here, making hospitals, constructing wells, doing so many things. Because all these things can also have an adverse reaction. Like we see in the hospital, if there's one person, one dacoit, who kills many people. So this dacoit, let's say the police, they shoot him, they injure him, and they bring him to the hospital. And the doctors, they treat him, they do an operation, they take the bullet out, they clean his wound, and then he stays in the hospital for some time. And then again he's released. Then again he goes and kills people. Then who is responsible for his actions? Those very people who have treated him, who have helped him recover, they are responsible for his actions. So even such things can lead to anarthas also. So it's called Sukruti Utta Anarthas. Like you see, let's say that you open a school, and And then many people, they join the school, then they become very proud of their education. They don't follow Bhakti whatsoever, they leave everything aside. They become great scholars but have no connection whatsoever with Bhakti. There is also Kruti Tanartas. So all these things, they cover Bhakti. So therefore here it is being said that these are external. Therefore Raghunath Das Goswami has said, Na dharmam na adharmam Shruti gara niraktam kulakaru Raje Radha Krishna Prachura Paricharyam Ihatanu. Saying, oh my dear mind, my dear brother, please do not perform either the dharma or adharma prescribed in the Shrutis. Like you see, Ramchandra, he is Maryada Purushottam. He left his wife because someone in the kingdom, they said something. The washerman, he said that, oh, I am not like Ram. That his wife was away for like 10 months and then he took her back. I am not like him. Go away from here. So someone told this to Ram, and what did Ram do? He left Sita. Why? Because he is following Dharma. He is Maryada Purushottam. On the other hand, you see, when Krishna married these 16,000 girls who were in the prison of Narakasur. Narakasur, who was he? He was the son of Varahadev. He was the son of Bhagavan. But because of bad association, he became a very terrible demon. What would he do? Any young woman he would see, he would capture these young women and he would put him inside the prison to enjoy them later. So when Krishna killed Narakasur, he released all these girls, these young girls. And then he told them, no, you go back to your parents. But these young girls said, we cannot go back to our parents. They will not accept us. For so many years, we were in the prison of Narakasur. So we cannot go back. So then these girls, they said, you take us to Dwaraka and we will be the maid servants of all your queens. We will serve them. We will be like their slaves. And Krishna was so merciful, he said, what to speak of being their slaves? I will marry each and every one of you, he said. Then he married all the 16,000 girls. He made a big palace for each and every one of them. He had like so many children from them. Did he ever reject them? No. But Ram, you see, on one side, you see, Raman could not even touch Sita. No. He could not even touch her. There was no question there. But still Ram rejected Sita. On the other hand, you see here, Krishna, he accepted all the queens. So where is Dharma here? Krishna even, he gave up Dharma also. But Ram, he was bound by Dharma. So here Raghunath Das Goswami is saying, do not perform either dharma or adharma. Just worship Radha and Krishna. Because they are the highest principle of worship. They are the supreme absolute truth. Yeah. Just give up all these things. Yeah. So then, there is this verse in the Gita which is said that Yat karoshi yadashnasi, Yat juhoshi dadasiya, Yat tapasyasi kaunteya, Tat kurusva madarpanam. Krishna is telling Arjuna, whatever you do, whatever you eat, do that as an offering to me. This should be done to please me alone. So here, Krishna is saying, whatever you do, mad arpanam, you offer it to me. So here, why is Krishna speaking all these verses in the Gita? Because he is especially emphasizing on the personal form of Bhagavan. He's emphasizing on his own personal form. Because the Nirvisheshwadis, the Brahmavadis, they don't believe in the personal form of God. So Krishna is saying that I am not impersonal, I am personal. I have a body, I have senses. You can approach me, you can love me, you can have some relationships with me. Therefore he is speaking all these verses. That offer something to me. Why? Because if you love someone, then you'll offer something to me. This is the first symptom of love. Like if a parent is feeding his child with his own hands, and what does the child do? Sometimes he'll take some food from that plate and he'll put it inside his father's mouth. The father will become so happy, the mother will become so happy. So this is love. This is reciprocation. Give and take. So Krishna is teaching everyone that learn how to love me. Give something to me. Offer something to me. So therefore, there is no desire to enjoy the fruits here. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur comments that Bhagavan suggests the practice of offering everything to him for those who denounce devotion performed with personal interest. So previously there was Sakam Bhakti, which is spoken of. But here there is Bhagavad Arpita Bhakti, means offer everything to Bhagavan, then accept his remnants. This is leading to Ananya Bhakti, one-pointed devotion. Those who are unable to understand the process of Ananya Bhajan, they are instructed to offer all of their activities, like eating and drinking, to Bhagavan. Because if one is a one-pointed devotee of Krishna, then what will he offer? If he has already offered his own self to Krishna, then what need is there to do all these things then? So for those who are not one-pointedly surrendered to Krishna, this process is given. That whatever you eat, whatever you drink, offer all these things to Krishna. Like Swami Maharaj, he would say that if a person is very much addicted to drinking alcohol, wine, and what should he do? When he drinks wine, he can say that this wine is also the taste of Krishna, and he can drink that wine, that alcohol. And gradually, by drinking like this, his mind will become purified, and one day he'll give it up. This is the process. When Swami Maharaj went to the West, he had a huge plan. What was that plan? He said, I'm even ready to open these buildings, hostels, where I'm even ready to give meat to everyone. I'm ready to give meat, eggs, alcohol, whatever they want. Because once they come here and once they start eating these things, and once they start associating with the sadhu, with the devotee, then no matter how fallen they are, gradually they start becoming purified. So see how merciful he was. He was even ready to give meat to everyone. But still, by Krishna's grace, because of his purity, this circumstance never arose. Rather, they all became vegetarians. They all started following Bhakti. So here there is, Bhagavan is showing that how he is approached. But still here Mahaprabhu is saying, this is external, you speak further. Then Rai Ramananda is saying, to give up one's own dharma, to give up this varnashram system, this is the essence of perfection. So until now, varnashram dharma is being emphasized now. But here now Rai Ramananda is saying, give it up. This is the essence of perfection. Why? Because as long as feeling of detachment from this world has not arisen, and as long as one does not have taste or faith in hearing Harikatha, then all these rules and regulations should be followed. As long as one does not have faith in Harikatha and Harinam, then we should follow all these things. But once one gets faith in Harikatha, Harinam, then gradually you start giving up all these things. You not have any faith in all these things. If one is indifferent to hearing narrations about Krishna, and he abandons his swadharma before a taste in hearing has arisen, he will fall into a degraded condition. So you see here also one should be careful. One should not give up everything in an immature state. If one does not have taste to Harikatha and Harinam, still he gives up everything, then there's every reason for him to fall back to his original position. So one should be very careful. Like we see during Swami Maharaj's time, so many brahmacharis, so many even sannyasis, they left everything and they got married again. So this stage is very crucial for each and every one of us. Because right now we are in the stage of Anishtita Bhakti. We are not in the stage of Nishtita Bhakti. At least I speak for myself. We are in this stage, like we see sometimes we become very hopeless. Sometimes we have so much hope, saying, oh, in this life, I'll go back home, back to Godhead. And then again we become hopeless, oh, I cannot do this. Sometimes we chant 64 rounds, and some days we cannot even chant 5 or 6 rounds. Some days we come, we listen to Harikatha, we do everything, and another day we become completely hopeless. This is called Anishtita. If someone comes and praises us, then we become so happy. And if someone chastises us, then we become very depressed. All these things. So therefore, there is every reason for us to be careful in this regard. So we should strive for that stage. So here this is being told that don't give up your dharma unless you have a taste and listen to Harikatha and Harinam. So therefore it is said, one of the Namaparas is that you speak on the glories of the holy name to those who have no faith. This is one of the Namaparas. This is like the 8th offense to the holy name. Only to those who have faith you must speak Harinam, the glories of Harinam. So what should you do? First you must speak on the glories of the holy name, and then when he has faith, then you must give him Harinam. Then you must encourage him to chant Harinam. Or else it is a Namaparada. So the same thing is being told here also. So therefore Mahaprabhu, such a person, he surrenders to Bhagavan because he fears the results of his good and bad karma, not because he has praying for the Lord. So this person, he's thinking, oh, if I don't surrender to Bhagavan, then I might have to suffer for all the karma I've done in my life. So therefore he surrenders. Not that he has love for Bhagavan. And because there are so many terms and conditions, whatever surrender he has offered to Krishna is not actually selfless. There are so many terms and conditions there. He has so many things there. So then it is external. So the execution of Swadharma has been termed external because by following Varnashram Dharma, one will act according to his material nature. It is every person's birthright to accept devotional service. This is told in all the scriptures. Even that person who does not follow Varnashram Dharma has the qualification to worship Vishnu. Even those who are born in dog-eater families, they have the right to follow Vishnu. But in Varnashram Dharma, you cannot do this. In Varnashram Dharma, only those who are born in Brahmin families, they can worship Thakur. Only those who are born in certain families who follow certain principles, they can engage in Bhakti. But here you see, every jiva has the right to follow Bhakti. Every jiva. Like you see, in this world, the sun belongs to everyone. No country can claim the sun as its own. No. Does anyone say the Indian sun, American sun, African sun, European sun? No, the sun is sun for everyone. There is no like consideration of this or that. No. Similarly, this dharma, this Jaiva dharma, this Sanatana dharma, Atma dharma, is not just for even the human beings. It is for every living entity. It is the nature of every living entity to engage in Jaiva dharma. But the human beings, they have this special qualification. Why? Because there are different stages of consciousness. Like one stage of consciousness is called Achadit Chetan. Achadit Chetan means covered consciousness. Who has such covered consciousness? Stones, mountains. Even mountains are living entities. Don't think that the mountains are dead. Because you see, even mountains grow in size and they decrease in size. This is true. If you look at the Himalayas, if you look at all these different mountains, they're actually growing every day. And they also decrease. Giriraj is decreasing in size. Why? Because of the separation. But there's some mountains becoming more and more big. Why? Because they have Achadit Cheta, covered consciousness. And then there are the plants, animals. They have Sankuchit Cheta. Sankuchit Cheta means contracted consciousness. Like even plants, they can feel pain. Even they can feel pleasure. Even they can feel happiness. Like you see sometimes, there are some plants, if they're happy, they start blooming, they start blossoming in joy. And there are some plants that start withering away if they feel that some harm is being done to them. Even they have this sense. But that consciousness is very like contracted. Shrunken consciousness. But then the human beings, they have this Vikasit Chetan. Vikasit means blossoming consciousness. The human beings, they know what is right and what is wrong. This sense of discrimination they have. So therefore the human beings have been given this facility to follow this dharma. Here. So therefore it is every person's birthright, every living entity's birthright to practice pure devotional service. Even that person who does not follow Varnashram Dharma has the qualification to worship Vishnu. Here. So then Krishna, he has spoken this verse in the Bhagavatam, where he is saying, "O Uddhav, my instructions concerning occupational duties are described in the scriptures. One who deliberates on the merits and limitations and then gives up Varnashram to perform bhajan of me is the best of perfected persons." So see what Krishna is saying here. In the Bhagavatam, Krishna said that the sannyasis, they are my head, the brahmachari is my heart, and the grihasthas are like my shoulders, and the vanaprasthas are like my shoulders, the grihasthas are like my thighs. He's given all these descriptions in the Bhagavatam. But still here Krishna is saying that if one even gives up all this Varnashram Dharma to engage in Ananya Bhakti, then that person is the best. Krishna himself is saying here. So therefore it is being said that give it up. Because we see that in Varnashram Dharma there is always Dehatma Buddhi. What is this Dehatma Buddhi? Deha Atma. Deha Atma means the body and the soul. And what is this Buddhi? The Buddhi is considering the body to be the soul. This is Dehatma Buddhi. So in Varnashram Dharma there is this obstacle called Dehatma Buddhi. So therefore because of this obstacle one should give it up. But if you see, there are three kinds of people who give up Varnashram Dharma. And who are they? One is called Agya. One who is very ignorant. He gives up Varnashram Dharma. And one who's Nastic, one who's an atheist, he doesn't think about all these things. He's like, who cares for all these things now? About Brahman, Brahman, Kshatriya, and Vanaprasthi, Sannyasi. I don't care for all these things. So he's that. And then there's the Sarva Parityagi. The Sarva Parityagi means one who has offered everything to Krishna. What does he say? He says, Gopi Partu Padakamalayur Dasa Dasanadasu. I'm neither a Brahmin, nor a Vaishya, nor a Shudra, nor a Kshatriya, nor a Sannyasi, nothing. I'm only the servant of Krishna. So therefore it is being said that Sarva Dharmam Parityakya Mamekam Sharanam Bhaja. That Krishna is saying, give up all forms of dharma and just surrender unto me, and I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. But still, in spite of this, Mahaprabhu is saying, this is external, go on, speak further. And then Rai Ramananda is saying, Gyan Mishra Bhakti Sarva Sadhya Sar. So he's saying here that Bhakti mixed with empiric knowledge is the essence of all devotion. And even if you see this kind of knowledge has three divisions. What is that? Tat Padartha Gyan, which is knowledge of the absolute reality, that is Bhagavan himself. There's Tam Padartha Gyan, knowledge of the constitutional position of the Jiva. And then there's Jiva Brahma Aikya Gyan, knowledge of the oneness between Jiva and Brahma. So three kinds of knowledge. Knowledge of Bhagavan, knowledge of Krishna, knowledge of one's own self, and knowledge of this oneness between Bhagavan and the Jiva. These three kinds of knowledge. You see, these things are very important. Don't think these things are very unnecessary. They're very, very important. Because this is like transcendental knowledge. Because right now, we are not in that most elevated stage of Raghavaka Bhakti. Like if you see, will Mother Yashoda, the gopis, think about all these things? No. For them, Krishna is only their beloved. Krishna is only their son. For them, there is no such consideration. But for us, we are like sadhaks, aspiring devotees. So these things are very essential for us. We should not try to bypass them, saying there's no need for all these things. We go directly to Radhadasyam, directly serve Srimati Radhika. Why should we know all these things? No, there's every reason to know all these things. Don't be lazy, because these things make your mind very strong. Now, if your mind listens to all this Tattva Siddhanta, if it tries assimilating all this Tattva Siddhanta, it will be very strong then, your mind. Because the mind has to be engaged. And the mind is engaged in thinking about all these things, all these different philosophies, then it will not waver away. It will not go in the wrong direction. So here, the third type of knowledge, Jiva Brahma Aikya Jnana. That is the knowledge of oneness between the Jiva and Brahma. This is like hellish for the devotees. Will any devotee want to become one with Krishna? Never. What is Bhakti? In Bhakti, there are three divisions. What is that? There is the Upasak, there is the devotee, there is the Upasya, that is the object of the devotion, that is Krishna himself, and there is Upasan. What is this Upasan? Worship itself. Abhideya. So there is Sambandha, Abhideya and Prayojan. What is Sambandha? Sambandha is to Krishna. And what is Abhideya? Krishna Bhakti. And what is Prayojan? Krishna Prem. Love for Krishna. So you see here the three divisions here. But in this Jiva Brahma Aikya Gyan, what happens? Everything becomes one. There is no difference between the Jiva and Krishna. There is no difference between this Bhakti and Krishna. There is no difference between anything. It just becomes one. So this kind of knowledge is very hellish for the devotees. They cannot even bear to think, even listen about this. But the other kinds of knowledge, that is the knowledge of Krishna and the knowledge of the relationship between the Jiva and Krishna, this is very important. This should not be avoided. But still, when one comes to the stage of Bhava Bhakti, he even gives up this kind of knowledge. Because if one has knowledge that Krishna is Bhagavan himself, then how can he serve him? He cannot serve him. No, how can he serve him? Like there's this example, will Prahlad Maharaj offer a glass of water to Narsingadev, saying, oh Narsingadev, you must be very thirsty, you drink this water? No. Because he's a Jnani Bhakta. He has knowledge of who Narsingadev is. He knows Narsingadev is like Parabrahma. How can God ever be hungry? How can he ever be thirsty? It is an offense to think this way. So even this knowledge of considering Krishna to be Bhagavan should be given up. Like Gurudev would say, Swami Maharaj has taught all of you that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He's saying, yes, this is true. But now I'm teaching all of you that who is Krishna? He is not just the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is the dear son of Nanda Baba. He is the dear son of Yashoda Maya. He is the dear beloved of Srimati Radhika, Lalita, Vishaka. He is the dear friend of Sridham, Sudham, Vasudham. I have come to teach you all of this. So even this kind of knowledge should be given up, or else you cannot enter into Vrindavan. No. If you enter into Golok Vrindavan and you still think Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then what is this? This is like Rasabhas. There you forget all these things. There you only think of Krishna in one of the three rasas. Sakya, Dasya, Vatsalya. And Madhurya, 4 rasas. And according to these 4 rasas, you serve Krishna. So even this should be given up. But now it is very important at this stage. So the meaning of the word Gyan in the present verse, it means to suggest Gyan Mishra Bhakti. So in the previous verse, Karma Mishra Bhakti is spoken. And here, Gyan Mishra Bhakti is being spoken of. So even such Gyani Bhaktas, by the association of the sadhus, they become great devotees. Like you see the 4 Kumaras. The 4 Kumaras were Naishtik Brahmacharis. And then they were always meditating on the impersonal form of Krishna. But then one day Narad Rishi, he brought some tulsi which had been offered at the feet of Vishnu. Some tulsi mixed with chandan. And then when he was bringing this tulsi mixed with chandan, this fragrance, it entered inside their noses, the nose of the 4 Kumaras. And as soon as this fragrance entered inside, they were thinking, what is this fragrance? All the way Atmaram Munis, still we are becoming attracted by this fragrance. How is this possible? Then the 4 Kumaras, they went and inquired from Narad Rishi, saying, what is this? Where did you get these tulsi leaves from? Then he said, oh, when I went to Vaikuntha, Lakshmi Devi, she was massaging Narayan. And when she was massaging him, she gave me some of these remnants of her service. Means she had offered some tulsi mixed with chandan at Narayan's feet. And here, take this. And therefore I got this tulsi and chandan, and now that you have smelled it, you know who Narayan is. So being attracted by this smell, the 4 Kumaras, they left everything and they went to Vaikuntha to have darshan of Narayan. Therefore it said, Atmaramascha Manayo, Nirvanti Purukame, Kurvantu ki ahitu ki siddhi, Ittam Bhuto Guno Hari. That Sri Hari has such qualities that even the Atmaram Munis, Atmaram means what? Atmaram means those who delight in their own selves. They take pleasure in their own selves. They get happiness from their own selves. Even such kind of spiritualists, yogis, they become attracted to Krishna's qualities. Like you see Sukadeva Goswami also. He was actually first a Brahmavadi. He was also believing in this formless conception. But then when he heard this verse, that how merciful is Krishna, that even though Putana was a Rakshasi, Aho Bakiyam Stanakala Kutam. Bakiyam means she was the sister of this Bakasur. She was Baki. And although she smeared this poison on her breasts and she wanted to kill Krishna, still Krishna gave her this Datri Uchita Gati. He gave her the position of a nursemaid in Golok Vrindavan. How merciful Krishna is. So when Sukadeva Goswami heard this verse, then immediately his mind was attracted towards Krishna. So even you see such Gyani Bhaktas, they give up all such things and they become attracted to pure devotion. It is worth considering here that without the help of Bhakti, Nirvishesh Gyan on its own is incapable of bestowing Sahajya Mukti. Thus, in the verse under consideration, the Gyan Mishra Bhakti referred to indicates the 3rd type of Gyan, or Jeev Brahma Aikya Gyan. So there are some Mayavadis, they think that on our own, we cannot achieve this oneness, merging with Krishna. So what do? They start following Bhakti. They say, alright, Bhakti is such a powerful process that by following it, we can achieve this oneness with Krishna. So this is what is called Gyan Mishra Bhakti. And in one way, actually, this is very offensive. Because they are using Bhakti to merge into Krishna. So here, Gyan Mishra Bhakti especially refers to what? Refers to that knowledge of Krishna's Bhagavatam, his opulence. This is that. There are many categories. No? You don't think that everything is just clubbed into one category. This category has many, many levels. Like when you speak of a Kanishta Vaishnava, Madhyam Vaishnava, Uttam Vaishnava, there are so many different categories. Like if you see, there's Kanishta. And even in Kanishta, there's Kanishta Kanishta, Kanishta Madhyam, Kanishta Uttam. And even between Kanishta Madhyam and Kanishta Kanishta, there are so many different stages. Millions of stages, you cannot even imagine. Millions and millions. And even between the stages of Kanishta Uttam and Kanishta Madhyam, there are millions of stages. And then there's Madhyam Madhyam, Madhyam Kanishta, Madhyam Uttam. Even between these stages, there are so many different millions. And even in the Uttam Mahabhagavats, Uttam Kanishta, Uttam Madhyam, Uttam Uttam. So, but as they're generalized in one category. Uttam Madhyam Kanishta. They're like given that general name. So similarly here when you speak of Gyan Mishra Bhakti, there are so many different stages. But here the general name is given here. So therefore, this is this Bhakti which is mixed with Ji Brahma Aikya Gyan, which is to be rejected. We shall see that this is indirectly indicated directly in the next verse. Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma. In their commentaries on this verse, all the Acharyas, Shankaracharya, Sridhar Swami, Chakravarti Thakur, they've all accepted that the Gyan mentioned here is Ji Brahma Aikya Gyan, means to become one with Krishna. So although on the path of Shuddha Bhakti, there is some concession allowing one to abandon his Swadharma, still there is a certain level of qualification. It is only upon the awakening of thick Shraddha, by the grace of pure devotee, that one receives the qualification to enter pure devotion. So here, Gurudev is saying in his purpose that only until one has the association of a pure sadhu, then he can hope to give up all these stages and follow pure bhakti. So here you see Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Shastrikaya. Lavamatra Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Siddhivaya. Sadhu Sangha is the prerequisite in every stage of devotion. Here it is being said that even for a Jnani, Karmi, whoever he is, only if he has the association of a bona fide sadhu, only then he can hope to proceed to a more advanced stage. So Sadhu Sangha is the prerequisite here. So this is what is being told here. So as and when we discuss this book, then you realize that all this entire conversation between Raya, Ramananda and Mahaprabhu, if you have faith in this, and if you listen faithfully, if you try imbibing these instructions in your own life, then you realize that the objective of this human form of life, which is what? Which is Krishna Prema, is not very far. It is actually very near. You'll realize this more and more. Means, one day we will achieve this Krishna Prema. And we'll be there. So this should be our prayer at the lotus feet of Mahaprabhu and all his dear associates. And all these teachings that they've come, that they've decided to give, we can realize at least a small drop of these oceans of teachings and make our lives successful. So we will stop here. Rai Ramananda samvad ki jai. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai. Tadiya Parikar Vrind ki jai. Rai Ramananda Prabhu ki jai. Srila Gurudev ki jai. Param Gurudev Prabhupada ki jai. Rupamkari Guru Varga ki jai. Ram Takoti Vaishnava Vrind ki jai. Samai Shri Gaur Tayi Gaur Vimanande Anchar Karo Karo Vishya Kripa Sindhu Devacha Aditaram Bhagavibhyo Vishya